with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
Figured I'd turn on some dance and electronic as we are doing a little bit of the Emp Children stuff today. I already kind of went into one of them. I'm gonna have to touch it up a little bit. It was 11:30 last night and I was like, I could do this. That was a mistake. What's up, Booney? How goes it? I gotta remember, I actually should take the bags out now. I gotta remember that we need to wash and scrub all the heads that I purchased for the rest of the army. Yeah, it was fun. It's a process to get that purple to work, but it works. It really works when it's on there. It's not good to stay up late painting when daylight savings time is also part of the factor of everything. Oh, I feel so burned out right now. But we gotta keep going. We got a non-metallic metal one of these other tanks. We have to do a little bit with visual aesthetic effects on the other one. I gotta get some white ink kind of fed into it and then apply some heat. Yours was the Custodes, right? Were you the one that posted the Custodes dragon? Minis gal. Yeah, you were. Those wings look nice, man. They look really good. Man after my own fluorescent heart. What do you mean, what am I putting on here? Here, let me zoom in too. You guys can get a bit better of a view, maybe even up the brightness a little. No, yeah, airbrushes are solid. They do some good work. I mean, that's the whole thing with this. So, around the engines, because I want these to be like heat based, right? I think around this bottom part, I'm going to use Liquitex ink. It works kind of like how people do thinned oil paint. Like if you've ever seen people do like recessed lighting and stuff, if you use a little bit of white ink with a little bit of like a wet brush tip, you can kind of drop it on there and it'll find the deepest part of it. It'll find the crack or crevice and just go into it and be done. So you do that, you let it dry for a little bit, and then you can go back over it with a fluorescent low opacity color. That way the brown will still be there, because this is technically a 2-ring system. There's a ring on the top and then a ring below. So there's 2 crevices I really want to hit with like yellow to make it look really hot. So we really got to work on that. But for now, we can try to get the non-metallic set the way it's supposed to be. My process, we'll start with the orange. So flat. Oh no, this is Naples yellow. Where'd my orange go? Cadmium orange. So flat cadmium. People in my local group have already been playing games against Emperor's Children on the tabletop simulator setup they've got, because the rules leaked, and I mean the points are out there, so I could technically build a 2,000 point list, no problem, until, you know, data slate drops and changes everything. So they've been playing it already, and supposedly, even though the abilities and stuff on the characters are really good, like, it's just not enough. And we'll have to see how it actually feels. Because apparently, Exalted 8-bound are just so much better than Flawless Blades. It's going to be interesting. Because I'm not really into melee in 40k. Like, I'm not the kind of person who leans into melee armies all that much. Like, even with my Knights army, I try to lean more into Brigands than Carnivores. I prefer the ranged approach. So personally, I'm not used to the timing of melee. I feel like in 40k, you have to have like a special kind of mentality to be able to pull off melee well. And I just don't have it. But we'll see if I can kind of come across some solid thought processes. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I guess I could, you know, test roll. I'm trying to figure out how hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, on a 6-man unit with AP 2 damage 2 into Exalted 8-bound dies, or like just folds like paper. Because it feels good enough that it should kill at least a couple of the 8-bound. I mean, 8-bound only have what? Feel no pain 6? I don't think that's circumventing that damage all that much, but maybe it's their total health. That's an issue. End of the day, I think what I put into an Exalted 8-bound squad is a squad of Noise Marines. Just roasty toast them off the board. That might be the play. I'm not sure. Which, I mean, I'm not going to be getting flawless blades until the Combat Patrol comes out, so... Oh, I fucking love this song. I'm pretty sure I stopped listening to the free dance collection on YouTube, like the YouTube backend, because even though it's like, yeah, it's free, I feel like I've been hit with DMCA strikes every time I've listened to this shit. I think flawless blades are definitely mulchers of very specific units. But yeah, I think vehicles are kind of their goal. Not killing the vehicle outright, but like maybe finishing a vehicle. Because AP2 damage 2 is good. And if I eventually have a list where I have a Demon Prince, I would have the Demon Prince kind of try to be local to the flawless blades at all times so that he could provide them an extra AP. I got a message back finally from the airbrush company that wants to do a little partnership with me. A little affiliate thing. And I was like, look, I'm thinking of doing it, but I just want to be very clear on like what you guys need from me. And they said they didn't want me to like lie when I told people about the product. Like they want me to actually review it properly, like to be like, yeah, okay, so if it's bad, it's bad. It's like, all right, whatever. But I was like, look, the army I'm about to paint is coming out soon. If you're gonna get me this airbrush, I'm gonna need it like very soon. Like horrendously soon. Because I don't really have paint projects after this. I need to focus more on talking about like rules and strategy and unit comparisons and top 10 videos and blah 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 blah. It looks hard because there's moving parts, but I mean, since you do it, you know the moving parts in this. You know how few there are. You know that there's the spring here, the gasket here, and then the nozzle here. And those are like the main things you have to care about. That is it. I recently relubricated this. And I might have to relubricate it again. Because the first thing that goes on these cheap ones is this little gasket here. In this middle area. Like, it hugs the needle way too tight now. And I have to figure out a way to like relubricate it pretty hard. But like once you get past that point, you're like, oh, this is easy. And the benefits, the ability to do gradients quickly and to quickly apply whatever color you want to a large model. It's so good. It's weird though. There was apparently, and I mean I haven't been hit with this, so like I don't know how real this is, but there was like this whole movement in miniature painting, specifically in like the 40K side of things, where people were like, "Oh, you used an airbrush, you're a cheater." It's like, what? What? But apparently that was like a thing for a while. People kind of look down on airbrush users as people trying to like cut corners. It's like, dude, you don't understand. I want to go outside. I want to take a walk. I want my army to be table ready in like a week. I don't want to be sitting at my paint table for a year just to try to get like a gradient to look really good. It is not on my itinerary. I was thinking this might be the last stream until the box comes out, but I keep remembering the heads I have. We might actually pre-paint them, so I can apply them later. I did. I was the first of 3 people to get that box out of the store. There was a line of people. And basically, if you showed up early enough in the day, you were given a sticker. A little placeholder for your spot in line. And I was number 1, because I showed up first. For those who don't know, usually Warhammer stores will have the pre-order on the website posted about 5 minutes before it actually goes live for everyone else. The crazy part is there were people who showed up like as the day went on. Right, like the pre-orders basically sold out in the first 3 minutes of launching. And then there were people who started like popping into the store an hour later who were like, "Can I get my pre-order in?" Like feeling like it's like a video game almost, like how video games work. It's like, oh, someone should have told you. Supposedly for a lot of stores, they're going to be getting like extra copies. Like they should get 2 or 3 past the pre-orders. But like I think that's mostly Warhammer stores. I don't know if that's going to be actual stores, like locals. They're still living in the pre-Cavill era in their heads. What's that? Superman said he likes 40K? Guess we gotta play 40K. Switching it up to Naples yellow, which is a good halfway marker yellow. We sort of just do like a light touch dry brush on sort of the opposite side of where the orange is. I wonder if I can zoom in more for you guys. I'm trying to apply this very thinly. It is So Flat paint, and So Flat paint is a little thicker than what you would expect. So after a stream yesterday, I was watching War Games Live. He was hosting a tournament, or rather showing a tournament. And an uncommon, unsportsmanlike moment occurred that, I mean, I never expected to see. It was actually a little kind of out there. I think it was the final round of the tournament, and it was there was a Tau player, and he was playing into, I want to say, an Aldari player, I'm pretty sure. and the Tau player wasn't keeping track of his score properly. And at some point, he as a host noticed it and was like, hey everyone, I don't think he's tracking his score properly. But then he did this whole spiel about how that's part of the game. Like, you as a player kind of need to keep track of what points you're getting, and if you don't do it properly, that's on you. And that's like part of kind of what your score is going to end up being. I can't remember if I think it might have been. Hang on. Mayhem. Was, oh no. Yeah, no, Scorched Earth. That was 15 hours ago. Yeah. So he was showing the last game, and at some point he started talking about how the guy wasn't following his score properly, and he was like, that's gonna suck at the end. But he was completely right. It's on you, the player, to properly track your score. And then out of nowhere, shortly after that, the guy picks his phone up. It looked like, according to like what he thought he saw. And then went, oh, I'm not tracking my score properly. Let me sort that out right now. And I agree with the host that it's a little wild that the guy, when he brought it up where he was like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, that shouldn't have been a thing. And the guy was like, nah, it's fine. I don't see why there's a problem there. And it's like, ugh. I mean, there is a problem there. You're playing one person. You're not supposed to be playing his conglomerate of friends. If you want to get pointers from outside your game from your group of friends, be prepared to have that guy's group of friends show up and be like, hey, why don't you try this? I've seen this work really well against Tau. No, yeah, it was definitely a weird weekend. Going forward, there might be some table rules getting applied to the streaming tables. Because I also agree with him that it's a little bit, it's not just shitty for the game itself, but it's shitty for the people who are trying to start making a living by going around and hosting these things and trying to like be part of the community, because that kind of opens them up for criticism, right? It opens them up to be pointed to as like a source of problems, and they really don't want that. It's a very bad look. So they might try to retool how certain things work on those tables. I'm just not sure how, because he did also bring up that, I mean, this isn't like an international high-end like game. Like this isn't like world important to play. So the notion of like telling people they can't have their phones on them when they have lives outside of the tournament, they might need to like see if a loved one is injured. Like, sure. But in the same note, like I watch a lot of like GTA RP because I'm a heathen. And one of the big things a lot of those people do is if somebody in their chat tells them something like meta, they have to forcibly ignore it. So like getting a text from a buddy who's like, yo, you're not scoring properly, probably should have resulted in, looks like I'm not scoring properly. I guess I'm locked in on whatever I've done wrong. No. What's up, Francois? There's a fly in my room. Now I really want to like catch it in the act and kill it. I've done so well at keeping flies out of here, despite living literally next to a creek. Like a 24-hour issue. The usual can be either good or bad. There's positives in consistency. If it is, if this song is from Battle Block Theater, this song is called Not For Nothing by Otis McDonald. It is in YouTube's free music section. Which I could see. I know all the songs that the guy from War Games Live uses as his waiting room songs. I used to use them a lot too. They're actually good. They're like good ambient, like fun rock song type situations. I've used them in a bunch of videos, and then I started watching his stuff. And I remember the first time he went to his BRB screen and played one of the songs I knew. I was like, oh yeah. Ooh. So from what I understand about Yanari, because I know a lot of people are playing Yanari, the way people are playing it is they're not looking to keep their units alive. They're just playing it to try to outscore, and that's it. Like, they're just absolutely fine with their army being dead by the end of the game, as long as there's like a 50-point lead. Which, interestingly enough, is how I play the Hex Wraith, or the Hex Warp Thrallband for K-Suns. I take all those Zangor Enlightened, and I just have like a squad of deep striking rubrics. My whole goal is to just get points. I don't care if the 5-man squad of rubrics that deep striked into your back line dies. At least they got behind enemy lines. I feel like that might actually become a problem, though, with 40k. It's really starting to feel like there's teams and armies that are performing extremely well, but their whole purpose of performing well is just getting points, and that's it. Not necessarily killing anything. And I'm always wondering if that's gonna like crush the soul of the game. Because how far away do we think we are from watching a game of 40k where no one rolls dice, right? Like where it's literally one person who's just like getting points and the other person's trying so hard to counter it, but he can't. Well, so the last video I remember watching was from 9th. Someone posted "This is the most toxic game" or something as their YouTube video, and it was a video of an AdMech player who played aircraft AdMech, and he got turn 1. He got the initiative roll. And once he got the initiative roll, the guy he was playing against was immediately like, well, I lose. And then, yeah, turn 1, almost his entire army was gone. So it was like, I was watching the whole thing and it was just non-stop, like, man, when do we think this game's gonna change from whoever gets initiative wins? And now I'm watching games of, man, I could see someone winning without rolling a single dice. Like, even if they're losing their units, right? Like, even if a lot of their units are just dying off. The idea that, like, they could still be 50 points ahead. The game's definitely still really killy. mean, the amount of stuff that Tau player was picking up every turn was quite insane. But one of the people at the store local to me tried out kind of a loosely built Yanari list he had. And he lost, but he kept the points close by like 8. I think he lost by 8 points. And I think by the end of the game, he barely killed anything that the Chaos Space Marine player he was going against had. Like, he just kept the score so stupidly close while losing everything. Like, turn 1, he was at a point in turn 1 where he was looking at the table and he was like, well, I guess I lose. Because he lost so much stuff. But then he decided to keep going and it was just like, oh, I only barely lost. Jesus. He forgot to pack his warp spiders, and that was like his whole thing. He was like, man, my warp spiders would have made this very different. And yeah, they would have. My favorite part about the free music selection on Amazon is that every song sounds like what a child who has skill would write. Right? Like, he'd be sitting in his room and he'd be like, I want to make a song, I'm going to call it Cyberblade. Do you need to get more games in? Question is, do we still try to push? I mean, I feel like my Thousand Suns need to be on hold until the Codex comes out. Do we pedal to the metal once the Emperor's Children Codex comes out, though? I feel like if I really push the hobby side, I could have my 1,000-point Emperor's Children team ready to go in like 3 days. Oh, you escalation leaguing? Supposedly we're starting an AOS escalation league. I'm debating joining it. I've only got maybe 3,000 points of Disciples of Zinch. Okay, would have been 3,000, like 800 if we still had access to Archeon, but you know, Death can have access. Oh, I didn't do the orange on that one. Death can have access to their super leader on all their units. I'm not allowed. AOS is weird, like in its total parts and form, because it is good. I think the rules are written well. I think there's like a lot of value in it. I know a lot of the 40k players are all about the whole like random mission draw and stuff. I don't, on a competitive level, I don't really like that as much. I know you can pick what you want to do, and that's fine. But you can't adapt what you pick is the issue. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm going to swap this card now. Whereas in AOS, you pick what you want to do, and then you can pick something else later. So you have a lot more control at your speed of scoring, I guess is like the big thing. Which in my opinion feels better than just being like, oh, I keep drawing behind enemy lines in turn 1. No. Like, when you go first and you draw Call the Horde against an army that has something meant for Call the Horde, but it's, like, hidden. And then turn 1 they draw Defend Stronghold. It's like, dude, what's happening? Oh, turn 1 Mark for Death. The worst. It almost feels better if the cards for 40k were like, you could either pick one and try to do it the entire game, and you'd get lower points. So it'd be like, or pick 1 or 2. So it would be like Fixed. It would already have the flavor of Fixed, right? But then you could also do a floating system where every round you pick 1 or 2 cards that you have to score on. Maybe design them a little bit better for counterplay, like most of the actions can be denied in the enemy player turn. Or maybe if the enemy player is positioned well enough that the opponent's like, I'm going to try this action, I'm going to go over here, and then like, oh, I get an Overwatch, hooray. I wiped out your squad that you were trying to do that mission with. Done. I think it would just feel better. Because it's a constant in anything that's supposed to be relatively competitive. The more RNG you apply to it, the worse it feels. For people who are trying to play it in an attempt to, like, achieve goals. And since the game is already all about dice, we're already well into the realm of RNG before we add in card draw. That should be it for Naples. Yeah, like that could be fine. Pick a secret and then get one randomizing one. I do find it weird that even with all the lists I keep running into that have very secure and solid ways of getting extra command points every round, they don't build their list for a fixed system, right? I get that fixed can't outscore tactical, I get that. But if you could build a list to easily score a fixed option and also prevent enemies from being able to score a lot of their tacticals, I think you win, like most games, right? Like easily getting your score and then denying your opponent their score. Just, that feels really good to me. And then if you already generate a command point every turn due to like a character or something on the field, that sort of undoes the reason for you to take, the big reason that people take tactical. Yeah, the reason rushdown lists are doing so well right now is because almost every single mission you get is like be in your opponent's territory. So like even if you're a rushdown list, but my list is like shield walling you, like you're getting into me but you're not killing me, you're still just getting points for being there half the time. I think what could be interesting is every mission, like for the fixed selection at that point, could be different total score potentials, right? Like let's say I go the mission of like hold your side, right? Like hold my objective. That sounds so stupidly easy. Like, you're already starting over there. All you gotta do is screen and have some good artillery. But maybe at the end of the game, I can at most score 60 points. Meanwhile, your opponent takes kill or something, or some kind of specific, like, be here at this weird spot and perform an action. Maybe they get 70 points, so whoever does best at achieving the goal. There you go. That way you would get like a take and hold or a defensive list. And you would kind of know what they're going to do. And maybe you've got stuff in your list that's like, oh, I'll be in their backline. They can't stop this. And if I'm in their backline, they don't score on their side mission. Like, imagine dropping a changeling in the backline of a screening list because they can't stop it. They just didn't fully gap it properly, and you just have a changeling back there. And because the changeling's in their deployment zone, they don't get points. Like, you could just outright murk him with that situation. Just a little bit of a tool. As a Thousand Sun player, I'd be aiming to do, like, my double move into your deployment zone with a durable squad. Just deep strike a squad of Terminators slightly outside of deployment and then double move them in. Just be like, enjoy, try to kill those Terminators, have fun. Death by opulence. We gotta come up with army list names for my Emperor's Children. I'm thinking Death by Opulence is one. Maybe Neon Rushdown. Or just Neon Nightmare. I feel like Bandwagon would work on so many levels. I mean, I don't even know if it needs to be about EC necessarily, like straight up EC. What you're looking at is it's going to be themed like a punk rock band. It's super bright, like this is their paint scheme. This is the paint scheme that's going to be seen alongside the list name. I mean, we could go with the bitter nerd approach and probably call it like I Wish I Had Doom Rider. Delectable dirge. Inescapable din. Duck step. The beat that never drops. Alright, spectral light. We get spectral light in a second. Let's do the flatting. For sort of the off color. There's usually a couple things I want to start with black and then turn into rust gray. And that's a couple antennas, usually. I'm not gonna lie, after painting these two rhinos and putting them together, I really don't want more in my list. Like, I think with this list, even with the two rhinos, I do think I could technically run the transport list. Because, I mean, it's two rhinos. It covers the core of the whole uppy-downy concept. I know you'd probably want more, like at least 4 rhinos in that kind of a list. And maybe not the Land Raider. But, I don't know. We out here talking ska? Dude, could you imagine a ska-themed Emperor's Children list? Everyone's just wearing a fedora. That'd be the most wild noise marine weapon of all time, right? Like, you just got that face with, like, all the wires and stuff going into it staring at you. And you're, like, a guardsman just like, oh no, my time is over. I'm going to be killed in the service of the Emperor. And he just pulls the trigger and it's just like, wee ba 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 da ba. Blows out your eardrums. I don't know. Stinky Pinky feels too edgelordy for a tournament. Like, that's, I mean, I get it, it's 40k. A lot of edgelords live in that universe. But it has that, like, pang to it where you can almost see the person giggling at you. There's like, see, it's like pussy, and it's like, oh Jesus, dude. I'm sorry for the world that hurt you, bro. Flats for the Russ. Like, the vision I have in my head with that name is the same vision I actually physically got with the person who was in the team tournament I was playing against. And I was playing Thousand Suns, and I had Magnus on the field. And he came over to watch the game. It was my shooting phase, and I was like, I'm gonna figure out, let me see what I want to shoot. And the guy I was playing was like, all right, cool. And then he comes over and he goes, what you gonna shoot? The gaze of Magnus? And it's like, dude. Dude. Like, I'm sorry, man, that your life went the way it did. Little touches of specular lighting here and there. Like, even his teammate was like, God damn it. like when your teammate has the look of disappointment in the fact that you came over and said that, it's like, ugh. I don't know, man. little hits of specular light here and there. Nothing overly crazy. Couple things we need to focus on. And I might reassess. We're gonna grab the white ink and I might try to drop feed it onto this stuff over here with the engines. Are you talking about the new friggin' Necromunda guy? Which, as everyone's pretty sure, he is a blood angel that sort of quit, I guess, or was left behind, maybe, or maybe was an early attempt at something. Who's messaging me? Oh. Saturday. He looks cool. I mean, he does just look like a Space Marine that isn't in its armor. He has the holes on his body that you're supposed to like link that armor to. Oh. Yeah, no, it's the new model. He is written as... He has a thirst for blood. And is extremely large. And he's walking around with a heresy bolt gun. These down pat. There we go. We're gonna have to let them dry. We're gonna want to feed the white ink onto this. So I need this tray for that. Let me see if I can't find the picture. Yep. Top of the page. So he's got the little hull components that apparently most Space Marines come with. This very much looks like an old Space Marine, like, boot, almost. Like, it's like parts of it were Space Marine, and it's just getting reassessed into new armor. But yeah. Heresy bolt gun. Thirst for blood. And he's way larger than almost anything on the field. Honestly, this guy could make for a really good convert model for Kill Team. Just to have one. Just have something like a little off. Sadly, this is it. Right, like they're not putting him out. They're not putting him out with like 10 other people. So this is all you're getting. So you're not going to have like cool auto poses or something, or an alternate weapon set. Like this is kind of like a special character to my understanding in Necromunda. Like he's very defined. This is what he is. There's nothing else to him. But yeah. Alright, let's try to... Oh, actually... Before we get into the white, I gotta hit a couple things here. We gotta do the missiles. Missile rack. Lothran blue. We determined that blue is a pretty good like rando color for like weird little details. That's when we switch over to Russ. Specifically use Rust Gray because Rust Gray has a little bit of blue in it, which I really like. Rust Gray is probably one of the better grays you can pull from the Games Workshop colors. Super glad the Heresy tanks have Havoc launchers. Heresy freaking Rhinos have really good spreads of like visual aesthetic weaponry. They have so many different options. This is kind of why I didn't really want to get into Heresy though. Building these two Rhinos and this Land Raider kind of secured my opinion on whether or not I would play Horus Heresy, because Horus Heresy really is a game of like min-maxing and pedantics a little bit, kind of like old school 40k, which I get why it's there. I mean, 40k walked away from that, which left a bunch of nerds who loved the hell out of that to just kind of wallow. So giving them access to this like side thing to maintain their interest was probably a really good idea. Alright, we gotta do white. Goal is to try to feed it. We need to keep the brush a little wet. So I'm gonna feed it sort of close to mid, because I do want to get back in here and hit it with shorters. And this is with Liquitex white. As we were saying, it tends to be very capillary. Where you place it, it tries to hold to that area, but it also tries to like go to the deepest recess with the pigment. I use it a lot when I'm trying to do like glowing etched writing and stuff. Because applying it along edges tends to feed it into that little crevice. really talking much. I'm trying to hyper focus. In the process of feeding the white into the crevices in very specific fashion. We gotta let that dry, so let's get the other one. There's that fly. Where's it going? Two flies in here? That one looks smaller than the other one. Honestly, the Horse Heresy Rhinos, I probably should have tried to light these. Technically, I still could. Because I did not know there were going to be as many, like, full recesses. Like, these go straight into a box. So I could easily have dropped an LED in this thing that just straight up shoots purple light out of the sides. Probably go pink light, though. Can't wait to see how many strikes I get on this video, even though all the music is in the free section on YouTube Music. I'm hearing a lot of songs where I'm like, there's probably going to be something in here where they hit me with a strike. Like, there's no way this song gets by without someone being like, oh, I claim that noise. fly in here now too. I think leaving the window open yesterday might have been an issue. A screen in the window. They just get in. Alright. Short truce. Might need to put short truce on my list of stuff to get more of. It's really starting to run out, and I know it's like a key visual aesthetic color for what I'm going to try to do. I don't think I'm going to leave it as short truce, though. We might actually go back in. A little bit of the yellow-orange. The short truce is a bit overpowering on its own. I do need it to kind of blend. I wonder the validity of the transport list with only 2 rhinos and a Land Raider. Because I know I want to lean into the other ones where I'm going to have, like, the redeploys and stuff. I think that'll be nice. Especially because they involve infiltrators. So I'll be able to infiltrate some of my stuff into like really bad parts of the board. Try to shut down the enemy from being able to place stuff in like certain areas. And then just be like, hey, and now I'm gone. I'm not leaving myself open to you getting any no prisoners turn 1. But at the same time, having 2 rhinos turn 1 on the back line. Just get uppy downied. debating posting my GSC up on the local trade channel. I don't know, man. Like, I like them. Maybe I'll see if my one buddy wants to pick them up. The problem is I already used the codex code. So I can't be like, yo, here's your army, here's the codex, type the code in so you have it. Because that's an army you need the codex code for. That army's been changed so much since its release. You need the updated digital stuff. Alright. Bit more yellow. Now we go back to fluorescent yellow orange. If you've watched my videos, you've probably heard this song more than once. Kind of a trick with this. And you got to be relatively quick. But you apply where you kind of want to gradiate the color out from. You apply a bit of it. Clean the pigment off your brush. Moisten the bristles a little bit. And then just go in and sort of like push that pigment away from that area a little bit. It's like almost like a Temu gradation. Or you can even pull back as well, because it'll pick the pigment back up in the bristles, and then it's just push and pull until you like what you see. freaking gnats, man. Yeah, this is the one I had to sprue goo, because you can kind of see that this plate didn't line up. It's literally because this didn't close properly. Like, this didn't want to seal properly. I don't understand it. It was so perfect and fine, the whole process of putting these rhinos together right up until that moment. And then it just didn't want to do it. I even pulled it completely apart, shaved everything down again, and then tried it again, and it still wouldn't go together. Super annoying. Who's messaging me? God, I barely get views on the streams too. I don't know what the hell happened on YouTube. That last video, like, tanked. And now I don't even get my usual, like, 100 views on stream. Ugh. Get more concurrent viewers. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Might do a top 10 video, get my channel out of the funk. I've been thinking of doing a top 10 snipers and kill team video and just go through the list. Rather not even top 10, just top. Best snipers in kill team. Whew. The big boxes are delivered Saturday, right? I said I might clean the heads up on stream so we can be ready with them and paint them. I might clean them tonight off stream, honestly. Because I feel like I need to set them up on a rig so I can paint them easily. There you guys go. I'm gonna get a little bit of video, a couple pictures, and I'm gonna figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I'm gonna try to get some artwork done, actually. Some other stuff that I need to get done. Thanks for hanging out. How many points? Not a lot, honestly. Potential leaks channel. I can actually sort the numbers, at least based on the leaked points and not before an MFM. Which supposedly there's going to be something coming out almost immediately after Slanesh drops. Which, who knows? Maybe they already see the need to change the points before we even get to play games. We are looking at Fulgrim. So 385. Let me just pull up a calculator even though this shouldn't need one. 2 rhinos, which without a squad would explode. But it is what it is. So 275 hits. And a Land Raider. 775. Not quite half of an army. Not quite half. Who's messaging me at days and nights? What the hell's happening? Maybe this channel's been changed. Alright. So let me get some video together. Welcome in, Steeljack. We are ending now after a 2-hour stream. I've got things to do. A lot going on today. If we can prep the heads, we might do a head stream tomorrow. I might want to move the camera for the head stream if I'm being real. They're going to be so tiny to work on. It's going to suck. Till next time, guys. Later.